Naming halogenated hydrocarbons. Halogenated hydrocarbons are compounds with chlorine, fluorine, bromine, or iodine attached to the carbon chain. Add a number to indicate the location of the halogen and use the following: chloro, fluoro, bromo, or iodo, followed by the alkane name. Notice there's a chlorine atom attached to the carbon chain. There is one carbon in this compound, so this is a derivative of methane. There are no double or triple bonds in the carbon chain, and there is no OH or alcohol group attached. So go to page 2. It is not a carbon double bonded OOH or double bonded OH. It is not an ether, nor is it a ketone. So go to page 3. It's not an ester, nor is it an amine. It is a halogenated hydrocarbon. Find the longest hydrocarbon chain. In this case, it's methane. Number the halogen. We only have one carbon, so you don't have to number this one. Use the prefix. This is chlorine, so we're going to use chloro. So this is chloromethane. Notice there is a bromine attached to the carbon chain. This compound has 2 carbons, so it is a derivative of ethane. You do not have double or triple bonds in the carbon chain, and you don't have an alcohol group, an OH group. So go to page 2. It's not an acid, nor is it an aldehyde. It's not an ether, nor a ketone. So go to page 3. It's not an ester or an amine. It's a halogenated hydrocarbon. The longest carbon chain, it has 2 carbons, so this is ethane. And I need a number here because I have 2 carbons, so this is 1-bromoethane. There's an iodine attached to the carbon chain. There are 5 carbons in this compound, so this compound is a derivative of pentane. You do not have double bonds between carbon atoms in this compound. It's not an alkene with an E. It does not have triple bonds, so it is not an alkyne with a Y. It does not have an OH group, so it's not an alcohol. Go to page 2. It's not an acid. It doesn't have a double bonded OOH or an aldehyde, double bonded OH. It's not an ether, and it's not a ketone. Go to page 3. It's not an ester where you have a carbon double bonded O, O, and then another carbon group. It is not an amine. It does not have an NH2 group. It is a halogenated hydrocarbon. The longest carbon chain in this particular instance is pentane. There are 5 carbons. The iodine is located on the 3rd carbon, and so it is 3-iodopentane. Note there are 2 halogens on this compound, a fluorine here and a fluorine there. There are 4 carbon atoms in this compound, so this compound is a derivative of butane. You do not have double or triple bonds, and you don't have an alcohol group, the OH group. So go to page 2. You don't have a carbon double bonded OOH, which would be an acid, and you don't have an aldehyde group, double bonded OH. It's not an ether, carbon, oxygen, carbon, and it's not a ketone, where the double bonded O is in the middle of the carbon chain. So go to page 3. It's not an ester. You don't have a double bonded OO carbon group. and it's not an amine. You don't have an NH2 group. It is a halogenated hydrocarbon because you've got a hydrocarbon group, chlorine, fluorine, iodine, or bromine, attached to the carbon chain. Find the longest carbon chain. It has 4 carbons, so this is a butane derivative. Place a number to indicate where the halogen is located. We have a halogen on the second carbon, and there are 2 of them. So this would be 2,2-difluorobutane, telling the reader that the fluorines are on the second carbon, and on the second carbon there are 2. So you use the prefix di, fluoro, it's a fluorine atom attached, and butane, it has 4 carbons. So this is 2,2-difluorobutane. You notice there are 3 chlorines on this carbon chain. One here, and one here. There are 9 carbons in this carbon chain, so it's a derivative of nonane. You do not have double or triple bonds, and you do not have an alcohol group. So go to page 2. You do not have a carbon double bonded OOH, which is an acid group. You do not have a carbon double bonded OH, which is an aldehyde group. You do not have a carbon, oxygen, carbon, nor is it a ketone. See double bonded O in the middle of the carbon chain. So go to page 3. This compound is not an ester. You don't have a carbon double bonded OO carbon group. It's not an amine because you don't have an NH2 group. It's a halogenated hydrocarbon because you have a chlorine, fluorine, iodine, or bromine attached to the carbon chain. The first thing you do is determine the number of carbons in the compound. This is 9, so this is a derivative of nonane. I need to tell the reader where the chlorines are. The chlorines are on the first, third, and fourth carbons. There are 3 of them, so it's trichloro. And nonane tells the reader you have 9 carbons. So this is 1,3,4 trichlorononane. In addition, you'll notice on the table there's some aromatic compounds. We will not have any aromatic compounds on this quiz.